Hi everyone! June, it is such a great month here in Sweden. It is finally summer, it is Pride Month, which alone is worth celebrating. I even dressed up for the occasion, and I hope that you all know that you all are always welcome here, every single one of you. But we're also celebrating the 5-year anniversary of the Ohuhu markers. And to celebrate, they asked me if I wanted to redraw my very first Ohuhu marker art that I ever made. And when I dug this up from my box of art that I never look at, I was surprised to see that this one is only 3 years old. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but it just feels so much longer. A lot has happened since January 2018. Yeah, it will be fun to try to recreate this in my current style. Back then I was going for a more realistic style. Now my style is more cartoony or stylized, I suppose. I definitely draw my cats a lot different now. It is cute though. And this art is actually made with the very first markers from Ohuhu, the 40 color set. Oh, and I noticed that all the blue markers are missing since I used them for the all blue marker challenge. So yeah, this is what they looked like back then, with a bullet nib and a chisel nib, and they have actually changed their appearance since then. Now they look like this with a more rounded shape, and they changed the writing from black to silver. To me it looks a little more professional, and they have also come out with a bunch of new sets. We have a skin tone set, pastel colors, a giant set of 120 markers, and a little smaller set with also all the blues missing from my one color marker challenge. I also want to mention that I'm not sponsored at all, but I am a big fan of the Ohuhu products, and I'm very happy to share them and my thoughts about them. My favorite is definitely the Ohuhu brush marker. Oop, making a mess as usual. I've said it before and I say it again, I don't get how brush markers this cheap can be this good, because alcohol brush markers in general have always been kind of known for being more expensive, but in some way Ohuhu have managed to produce great brush markers to a fairly low price. And it's not only the brush markers, the regular markers are great too, and so it goes for the rest of their supplies. The low price makes them perfect for not only professional artists but also for aspiring artists, beginners. It is just so great to see that good quality art supplies is now available to everyone, even if you're on a budget. And just to get some price comparisons, I looked on Amazon, and a set of 48 Ohuhu brush markers is more than half the price as a set of 12 Copic Chow brush markers, which isn't even the most expensive of the Copic markers. But anyway, let's get started with the art, or the redrawing. Also, the anniversary celebrations is starting on June 14th, the birthday of the 40 color set, and for a few days all the Ohuhu alcohol markers will be 20% off. I will have all the links in the description box below if you would like to check it out yourself. Anyway, the art. As I always do, I start by making a sketch in Procreate, and let me tell you, if you haven't noticed already, I love sketching digitally. I can erase as much as I want, I can move things around, I can flip the canvas or mirror it to spot any wonkiness. It is just great. So I'm trying to figure out a new pose or composition, because I don't want it to be exactly the same as the original, obviously. My intention is to make a new drawing in the way that I would make any drawing at this moment in my current style. I've done a lot of these draw this again challenges, or whatever you could call it, before, and I think it is so much fun to see how much my art has improved or changed, because sometimes it might feel like you aren't improving at all, that you're getting nowhere with your art. And then I can really recommend you to try this challenge. It will help you to much easier see how much you have actually improved, and it can also help you to find back to certain things that you like to draw but maybe forgot about, so it can be very helpful in that way too. But yeah, I went with this pose with a kitty sitting on the shoulders. It is a little more cartoony or stylized than the original, and I think it has a little more expression and attitude. Normally, I would just do the line work digitally and print it and color it, but of course I will be using the Ohuhu fineliners for this occasion. And if you would happen to wonder why the line art is slightly different later in the video, it is because I had to redraw the line work. I kinda messed it up and I'm a perfectionist, so I needed to make a new one, but it is a pretty small artwork, so it didn't take too much time, fortunately. That is why I like to do my line work digitally and print it. It is so much easier to fix things, but I did print the sketch though to have something to try the colors on, and I was trying to pick colors similar to the original, but I will change it up a bit, and I will be using the brush markers of course, and I'm picking colors from both the 120 set and the skin tone set. The skin tone set was so useful for this piece. I used a lot of different colors from it. So the art that I'm redrawing is only 3 years old, but it is the 5-year anniversary of Ohuhu. So let's see what I was doing 5 years ago, 2016. Oh my gosh, 5 years may not seem like a lot, but it feels like ages ago. And looking back at my art, and I'm looking at my Instagram by the way to remember, my art is definitely very different. I did draw a lot more people, a lot of heads floating in the air, like portrait I suppose, but I feel like I was starting to experiment a little more with my art at that point, and I've always been experimenting and drawing different things. I just like the variety, but it looks like I was starting to move away more and more from my comfort zones, and through YouTube I started to receive these mystery art supply subscription boxes, which you've seen a lot of on this channel, but they pushed me to try out new and different art supplies and art mediums, to try out new techniques and styles, and I think that has been very important for my art journey in the way that I never really got bored doing art, because there's always something new to try out, new things to explore. So over the years I've started to find my style more and more, and again I don't really have a specific style, not a typical style that I draw everything in, but since I'm experimenting and playing around with different styles and art mediums, I'm figuring out more and more how I like to draw certain things, and that is just what practice does too. The more you draw and the more you look at and let yourself be inspired by others' art, the more you can start to figure out your own style and become better at what you do and become more confident. And I hope it doesn't sound too rambly. Basically, if you want to become better, draw, and if you want to find your style, draw. But during these past 5 or 3 years, I can definitely tell that my art has become more confident, and I have learned to draw things for me and not only my audience, because that is a trap that you can very easily put yourself in, drawing things that you think will be liked by others. Well, sometimes I have to think about what would be a fun video or what would sell as a print, because I still need to pay my bills, but I really try to be more me, even if some people find my art repetitive.
Why do you always have to draw cats? Can't you draw more dogs?
But I always come back to Bob Ross in that matter, because he did a lot of paintings of landscapes and mountains and happy little clouds. I don't think anyone told him that he should draw more portraits. If you like something and it makes you happy, do it. So because of the anniversary, the theme for this video and the drawing is companionship, and my art journey may not be the most exciting or revolutionary, but something that have made it more special to me is having all of you guys with me. You have been my companions on this art and YouTube journey. Some of you have been here for a long time, some are new, people come and go, but for a long time now I have had an audience patience with me, seeing me struggle, my mess up, my progress, and most of you have always been very encouraging and supporting, which have helped me a lot, especially with not being too hard on myself. I still need to give myself critique sometimes, but it is much easier for me to let it go, and I think that is one of the reasons that I like to share my art struggles, because you guys are always so supportive, and it also shows others that it is okay to mess up sometimes, that you can actually learn something from it, and it is important to make mistakes to be able to grow. I was very happy to hear that the theme was companionship, because it is also very fitting with the art that I'm drawing. Just like me, this witchy elf lady is having her two little kitty familiars with her, and I'm really liking how the art is turning out. I had so much fun with the coloring. The hair in the original is much lighter, like a very light blue with a little bit of purple up by the roots, but I wanted more colors in there, so I added more purple to the hair, which I think looks so pretty. I just think I gave her a little more personality in this piece than in the original. You can kind of get a better idea what type of character this could be, and I think that is something that I become a little better at least. Composition and telling stories with the art, not great but better. I was a little hesitant if I should add a darker background or not, but I really felt like a dark blue would tie this piece together, and I really like how it turned out. I made sure to leave a little white border around her to not make her blend in too much, and the original piece had a lot of color pencils in it. I actually think it was the Ohuhu color pencils, so I added some here too, but this time I used my Faber-castell Polychromos. And I think color pencils and markers go so well together. It is perfect when you want to add some extra details or highlights or some shading and glow and stuff like that. The texture of the color pencils adds a little extra something. I like it. But yeah, I really love how this piece turned out. As I've said so many times now, it is colorful, it is cute, it is definitely different from the original. I don't know if it is better, but definitely different. You can clearly tell that my style has evolved or changed. I always enjoy these kinds of videos, turning something old into something new, and I hope you like it too. Thanks Ohuhu for all the lovely markers, and happy anniversary! And thank you guys for watching and for being here supporting me and my work. But yeah, that is all for now. I will see you next time. Keep drawing my happy cats. Bye!